My name is James. I've been sort of connected to the farm for a long time, up until about 2 or 3 years ago when I moved to Montana. Um, I started out at the after school programs from Memorial. I did those for a few years, and then I did like the summer programs, junior working farmer, and then when I was 12, or about to be 13, I became an apprentice. I was a second generation of apprentices, and then I sort of worked my way up there. And then I did teen work crew, or led teen work crew for a year. I lived in the tiny house, where I led teen work for 2 years, and then lived in the tiny house, and then I went to college. I kind of came back for a summer, popped back in, but now I've kind of spread my wings. I was in second grade or third grade, and it was my first time during the after school program, and we walked from the school here, and like our task was to do the chicken chores. And I was remember being starkly against it at 7 years old, 8 years old, because chickens were scary. They were a lot like closer to my eye level back then. So I think it was like a power distribution thing. They just kind of scary looking. So I got in there and I got pecked in the leg, or I bumped my leg into something, and I lost it. Started crying, tantrum, never coming back. This place sucks. And then I came back the next day, and it was great. We did the rabbit chores, and it was it was much nicer. Well, the barn is new. um, there's just like some new things. I can see a lot that like I've had my hands on, which is cool when I look around, like seeing the chicken run that I redo with the teen work crew and the rabbit run. Um, this whole thing used to be a functioning growing space where that car is parked. Used to be the apprentice garden, which our generation of apprentices 8 years ago, we loved the idea, but we didn't like taking care of it, so it kind of went to seed, went to shit, and it's no longer a thing. A lot of small stuff has changed, but it's still the same. The community has not changed. Like sitting down for lunch after not being here for a year, just feel just as welcome, and it's very open. But small things here and there. I think I learned a lot of life lessons that I didn't really understand in the moment, but kind of thinking back on like how to really work well with people that you just don't know, or how to take accountability when you make a mistake, because everyone's kind of learning at different paces and levels. So it's good to know like when you make a mistake, when to own up, and I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons that I keep with me today, because I made a lot of mistakes when I was younger. Did a lot of stuff poorly. Um, and then you sort of learn that it's easier if you take some more time, and then you make less mistakes. So I think that's definitely one of the biggest lessons, or just what I've taken away from the farm. A lot. And I spent like my really like when I was 8 to when I was 18. I kind of always had a foot in the water here, so I think everything I learned through the Natick farm and through making mistakes and meeting people and having different experiences. So I'm very fortunate because it was such a unique place, and you learn so much and have all these unique experiences with unique people they don't really have anywhere else in suburban Natick, Massachusetts. So I can't really think of what I wouldn't have learned if I wasn't here, because I just spent so much time here. Just a fundamental love for the outdoors and to be outside and getting my hands dirty and getting dirt under my fingernails just kind of feels natural, feels good until it's like too much. It's gross. You gotta clean up. But um, yeah, it's definitely where I learned that I want to work outside and work in conservation and cherish what we have. It's kind of always been just this communal area where all the buzzing is and the hubbub, where the drop like camp drop off pickup is, and where you start your day and end your day. In the old barn, it was before it was the hay loft, right? And when you go up to the left side, you could like there's always some hay. And if you snuck away, you could take a nap in there for like an hour after lunch.
That's the community lunch, right?
Yeah, yes. Or during lunch, you could just it was so cool up there, and the hay was so soft. Oh, you could actually take a nap up there. Hypothetically speaking, you could take a nap up there. I mean, it's such a sweet spot. It's so close to everyone to figure out and see firsthand where food comes from, whether it's a pig, animal meat, or a radish or tomato, to see how it grows and how it is cultured by humans to be like a food crop. It's pretty insane. It's pretty cool. Not to divulge, but when I was 13 or 14, Casey had me lead a group of Wellesley College volunteers, like freshmen in college, and I like went down to like open up the ground beans, like the green beans, and I like spread them apart. I'm like, okay, here we go. Like this is what we're looking for, and they were just shocked. Like, what? That's where green beans come from? And it's such a weird thing because it's like, yeah, that's where green beans come from. What are you talking about? Like, you don't know that? And they just hadn't seen that before. They haven't seen green beans growing from like a bush bean plant. So that's something I've always kind of kept with me. That's a really cool resource. If you don't know, then like how would you know? So you can kind of come walk down here, trot on through, and see like every aspect of where food comes from. I'm sure it's grounding and it's just cool. I mean, once you kind of start thinking about where food comes from, you look at food from a grocery store and you're like, this looks kind of weird, or why does this taste so bad? And it's like conventionally grown. You kind of get a deeper understanding of what organic produce is and what like how good food is when there's just as least amount of influence on it as possible. Um, yeah, good food from a good place. When we were 13 or 14, me and three or four of the other interns decided it'd be a really good idea to just camp at the farm for a week and just not leave. So we stayed in the back pasture no, we stayed over there one night, and then Casey was like, "You guys, no, you're gonna do this like you're going to the woods." So we went to the woods, and we spent Monday to Friday here, and we like ate community lunch and like had mac and cheese for dinner and kind of hung out and played a lot of card games. And then Friday, we were like, "We're just gonna stay," and he was like, "No, you guys stink. Go home." I guess we had some like kind of stench that was following us around from because we'd hose off with a bar of soap up by the pigs, but didn't really get a good deep clean in, so we were all kind of smelly. They kicked us out. He's like, "You guys can work here, yeah, but you can't sleep here anymore." And that was kind of looking back at it's a little ridiculous. Some urban camping. There was when I was in the tiny house, there was right in the start of the summer, a bunch of stuff started going missing. Like a hammock out of my car got taken. Firewood was disappearing. Someone tried to break in and steal cash from the um, whatever farm stand. And Casey just was like dead set that it was just people forgetting stuff. But I was like, no, like someone's taking stuff. And one day, one of the two, we got like a new brush mower, and the old one, which got the new one, was just gone one day, just up and gone. And I was like, okay, that's weird. And like probably 2 or 3 weeks later, after it disappeared, I was out with the teen work group, and we were looking at trees to like take down to thin to make room for some sugar maples or like whatever trees you can make into a fence post. And we saw like I don't know if this is good, if this is like chill, but we saw like these tarps hanging up that like created this box. We walked over to it, and there was everything that had been taken from the farm: spray paint, screws, hammers, the mower. The engine block was taken off, so it was just the mower deck. And so we dubbed it the Florida Man that had like been stealing stuff from the farm. And we ran back. We're like, Casey, we found everything. We found the man. And apparently it was just some kids that were like messing with the farm. And I was pretty. I mean, I was a crazy. I was 18. I'm like heart's pumping. I'm like, this is a great discovery.
Yeah.
It's just where all the trash had went from the farm. Oh, I could talk about. Yeah, I have a lot of memories. Linda Simpkins, old
Yeah.
farm manager. Shout out Linda Simpkins. She taught me a lot of stuff. Most importantly, too, she'd like if I did something stupid or asked a dumb question, which in hindsight's a dumb question. She'd always say, "What's that on your shoulders?" Like, what? Your head. Use it. And that's sort of, I was like, okay, maybe I should think before I speak, or problem solve, or think. James was another one. Man, yeah,
She taught a lot of people a lot of things.
a lot of people, a lot of things. Yeah, I think it's just worth getting involved for a week, a month, 5 years, whatever, just to see. I mean, it's kind of a kooky place. Everyone's a little funky, but those are always like the best people. Are the ones that you can tell a joke to and be like, "Oh, that might have been a little weird," and you look over and they're laughing. Okay, good. And just get. I mean, it's just one of the most wholesome senses of community that I've ever had, where everyone just kind of like. It takes an hour for you to just become a part of the group, just to learn everyone's name, and then you get to see how all these amazing things come together. Especially if you can do like a full season or like volunteer from the spring to the winter and see like the seeding process to prepping the fields to growing to CSA, having someone come pick up a CSA. It's just get involved. Come see what it's about. I think that is like the best thing anyone could do. And check out the new barn. Oh my God, another farm story. Rats. When I was 15 or 16, we had this rat problem. It was bad. So it would just be like every grain bag. We had this old, it was like a 60-pound door, and it would hold all of our grain bags. And you would just like load it up and fill it. And then you'd open it every month and like take out 4 or 5 bags and fill the little plastic, whatever. One day we opened it, every bag had like been eaten by rats. There's this huge rat problem. In the old barn, it was built on a lift, so there's airflow, so like the floorboards wouldn't mold out or some other reason. Marco Terry would know. Why was that, Mark? And there was rats that just lived on there. It was 4 feet of just like mush, whatever. So all these rats, Casey was like, "Hey, I bought these 2 tubs of rat poison. Me and you were just gonna go spread them down there." So we put on like ventilators and we duct taped like kitchen gloves to our sweatshirts and like goggles. We went to the flashlight and put like 10 pounds of rat poison. When I came back on, that was a Friday. I came back on Monday. It was like gone. Like they were all gone. Just all of it was eaten. So that spring, everything started to thaw, and all the leaf bags that kept the greenhouses warm throughout the winter and the hoop houses started to like stink a little bit. When we started taking them off, every layer was just rat dead because it was warm, and so that's where the rats went to die. So it was a smelly, smelly spring. To continue, just to be here. Not much has to change. I think enough has changed, and it's gotten a lot safer. Whatever. And I just think it just needs to remain, and more people need to get involved and just check it out. Sign up for a CSA. Come check us out or check you guys out at the farmers market on Saturdays at Natick Center. Just see what it's about. Volunteer. Donate. Shameless plug. Just remain. Just to still be here in 50 years would be awesome.